Beeld voor de actieve student.
Welcome to our presentation of the election campaign of Student Party from 2016-17. In this presentation I will show you the vision of Party Front as well as their core elements called the pillars. We work with 3 pillars and I tried to put them in a presentation. I'm going to spotlight some of our main themes, and this does not mean that we don't have anything next to it. It's just less extensive than the report that's online, because if you want to read that, you of course are free to do so. But for clarity's sake, I would like to just start with spotlighting our main goals for this year. Our vision, as you can read, we believe Tilburg University is an academic environment and it should be explored to the fullest and it should be used to the fullest. No options should be left on the table, and we therefore think that also students are very responsible for their shaping of their own studies. And studying on a university does mean that you are responsible and that you are a grown-up person and that you are able to take responsibilities. Nevertheless, it is a big step from high school to the university, and that is why we believe that Tilburg University needs to play a role in which it supports the student. It should give the opportunity to develop yourself as a student, and it should be inviting to do so. So it shouldn't scare off, it should motivate you. And we want to achieve this and further develop this next year by the elements that I'm going to explain in this presentation. The first thing that we are going to do this year is something relatively new, as you might have already read. It's the Student Participation Association Front. It's the first one from Tilburg, and that is the way we are. It's the corollary of the mission of Student Party Front, and that actually means that, like, okay, Party Front stands for something which means like bettering the position of the student it is like right now, and we do that by representing you at the University Council. But how can you do that the best? And that is through knowing exactly what's going on in the students' minds, education-wise. So what do students want these days? What do they really prefer? What do they want to see at the university going on? So is that more working space, or is that smaller working groups, or bigger groups? You don't know. But to make that absolutely clear, we want to set up this student participation where you can be a member and you can share your opinion in monthly meetings, and where we also keep you updated about what is going on in the University Council. You can anticipate on it, so that actually, how many do I have? I think it's like this. So it builds on to the vision of Party Front, because we say, like, okay, as a student you are responsible for shaping your own studies, but then you do have to know what kind of options do you have to do so. So that is why we are going to arrange monthly meetings in which we say, like, okay, these developments are going on. For example, summer schools for which you have fees that you can obtain when you, for example, when you're the first of the 25 people to apply for a summer school, then you get like how do you say that? I'm going to a beurs scholarship. Thank you. That means, so if you know that you have the opportunity to get a scholarship, you are much more willing to apply for such a possibility. So that's through that you shape your own studies, and that is why we want to. That is the strongest part of student participation forms. So the students get in touch with the University Council and what's being said there, and the other way around. The students provide us as front in whole, like what do we want? And then we can bring that, I bring that to the party front, and I say, this is the wish of the student, please do something with it. And then you get really concrete plans which benefits the students again. As I said, it's an easy access. You can become members and there's monthly meetings, no strings attached. You can just join if you have something to share or if you just want to know what's going on. And that's something that's really important because right now what you hear most of the time during the elections, it's like, okay, Font is here, Sam is here, but where are you the rest of the whole year? I don't see you anywhere. That's actually really logic if you see that you have to have a policy. You have to hold a policy for 1 year with only 4 or 5 people. And next to that, there's only a little time in which you can be visible for students. If you would be visible for students the whole year on, it wouldn't be beneficial for the content of the policy you are holding during the year, throughout the year. You need to respond to the pieces that are being discussed during the university councils, not just handing out flyers and showing who you are. So that's what we are going to do as well. We do want to have more of a visibility for the students so they know where to go, not only during the elections. And then I had the 4th point I already discussed. And the 5th as well, so incorporating your opinion in the TU policy through the close cooperation between the party front and the student association, because you have to see it as a whole. On national level, at the politics, it's actually the same, and we are incorporating it right now, our association, but on national level they do it the other way around. So first you have the association, and through that there is a party who is doing the policy, and the association is taking care of their members, which is actually the core aim of FONT, being there for your students. Then I would like to go on with our... Would I like to? Oh. Okay. Well, if there are any questions on this one, I guess I already explained it. I'd like to go on with the pillars of Student Party Front. I guess you could already read them, but they are the active student, the internationalization, and the communication towards the student. Let's start with the first one, and I would like to emphasize that these are not the only things that we are aiming for. I just want to spotlight some of our subjects that are being mentioned in our program. Yeah, this is actually the description of the active student. So what do we want to offer? We want to offer students the possibility to personally develop themselves. And I said it's for TYU to offer the democratized space. Let's continue. So for example, we want to abolish the mandatory attendance in lectures. The reason behind it is, of course, that if you have a lot of obligations as a student next to your studies, then you're supposed to be able to do so. If you don't have the space to do something you want to in order to develop yourself, you're just going on with the mainstream student, and that's not what Party Front stands for. You need to distinguish yourself, especially for later on when you want to enter the labor market. It's not just going to be you and your grade list. You need to distinguish yourself from other students, and that's why you need to get the space for that. And through the abolition of mandatory attendance, we believe that is going to give you a bit more space to fill in for yourself. And as I said, as a student, you're supposed to be responsible. You're an adult, and you know how to handle your freedom, so don't use the mandatory attendance. If you as a professor think that it's necessary to have the mandatory attendance, then something must lack in the quality of education, because I know students want to go to a lecture if it's really interesting. They don't want to miss it, so don't use the scholastic way of mandatory attendance. More investment in digitalization. Well, of course, it's clear that we have to go with the we have to travel with time. No, I'm going to say that differently. We're living in a modern society right now, and sometimes of course it's good to keep the old things that are beneficial for everyone, but not if it could be better if you get more space to have high quality of education. Why wouldn't you? So digitalization, video or audio lectures like we are doing right now, it is beneficial for the student because it could use the recorded lectures as a way to study for their exams, but they also could do it like, okay, today I have lots of meetings, or I'm having my internship so I can't visit, I can watch it again. So that's something that's really important to Font as well. So as giving the student the space to be active without having the quality of education being lowered. And of course the knowledge clips. It's like you have the small clips that are being recorded, and it's about a specific topic. Because sometimes, if I use an example of Tilburg Law School, there are some theories that are being understood that are really hard to understand, and teachers have to answer the questions over and over again to individual students. And what we believe is very good for students is to just record one clip in which a professor explains a certain theory, and then students can watch it again. And that's not only beneficial for students but also for professors. Then you get more time for other things that might be help education grow. The more working spaces, I think we all know what is the problem right now. If you enter the library, or if you enter Montesquieu, for example, students, and not only students from Tilburg University, they are fighting over places, and that's not supposed to happen. So what are you going to do about it? It's a hard topic because you have a certain amount of space, but how are you going to make sure that you are using it efficiently? So through evaluations and through other ways, we are trying to create more working spaces. Paying tuition fees per subject. I believe that not every student who passes, well, let's say if I hand over a flyer to a general student, he or she might not know what I mean with paying tuition fees per subject, because why would you? You're just following every subject of your curriculum. But that's not the fact with, always the fact with active students. You are, as a board member, well aware that you are paying your tuition for the college, for your education per year, whilst you're not following any subjects. That's a bit strange. Also, when you know that the university wants to raise the amount of money that's being given to you, if you're doing a board year, might be, because so then you're like paying for something, but you're getting the amount back again through your monthly paid fees by the Tilburg University. So that could be something to look at. Just give the student the space to pay what he's actually using. And then we have the better linkage between the labor market and the graduate. I'm going to put this away. Yeah, let's see. You have vouchers right now for students when they have graduated. You can get, I believe it's 18 ECTS. Those vouchers you can use for following courses after you graduated, so language courses or other courses to your liking. We believe that's a very, very important thing, and it should be motivated, and the possibilities should be explored to do anything else with it. Because as you see right now, graduates are having a hard time finding the appropriate job. And we could help them by filling that space, by giving them more skills to enter the labor market and to promote them out there. This one. Let's go to the, if there are any questions on the former, please do ask, otherwise I'll just continue. The communication is our second pillar. As I mentioned before, of course it's really nice for the Tilburg University to offer facilities, but if the students do not know that they are there, they're not being used. So that's a waste of time as well as a waste of money. That is why we believe students need to have a better communication. So Tilburg University should provide students with more information, and that's also the reason why Student Participation Association Fund is coming in. It helps students to create awareness. What's actually possible. It's not only following lectures and not only obtaining your grades, it's also other opportunities that the Tilburg University offers. For example, summer courses. With those scholarships, they are already being offered at Tilburg Law School for the first 25 people. I think that's a very characteristic of the problem that we're facing right now. At my faculty, you are able to have a scholarship, and the requirement is to be the first of the 25 applicants for a summer course. I don't think that's too hard to live up to that standard. It's just a matter of time. So you get 500 euros from the university to go and have a summer course, but no one knows. I'm almost the only one who knows it, and that's a waste. So that's why we would like to have a better communication, but that's one of the voorbeelden. I can't come up with it right now. Examples, thank you. We also think that the rights and the duties of the students should be clear for everyone, because, well, we are active students and we know what's being expected of us by the university, and we also know what rights we have. But a lot of students do not know how exactly the regulations are. So that's why we want to, TER stands for Teaching and Exam Regulations, dus de OER, Onderwijs en Examenregels. We want to set up for every faculty the general rules. So just put them in like a physical booklet, A5 format, and hand them out. Just so you know, you're clear, these are your rights, these are your duties, do something with it. If they're not being lived up to by any professor, please go and do something about it, because it's your right. A uniform system on grades, exams, and work groups. I don't know if you have the problem. If I see at my Tilburg University app, like, okay, there are the results of my tests, and I don't have Control F function, I'm like scrolling like 5-10 minutes looking for my own grade. So that's why we're trying to make it go from 1 to 10, or you know what I mean, from ABC on. That's just you know, comfortable. You just want to have comfort for the students. Uniform system on exams. We would like to see an opt-out possibility. So once you're registered for a specific course in Blackboard, you're also automatically being rolled into the exams, unless you opt out. Because that's a better way to do so, instead of, oh my god, I'm too late, I'm going to have to fix it. It's much worse to not be able to do your exam than the other way around, like, oh shit, I forgot to opt out, and now my space is still, yeah, you know what I mean? The consequences are less for the student. The work groups that concern the lots of different times in which you can enroll for a specific work group. It's divided over 2 weeks during the summer, so lots of students aren't even able to do so. We would like to see that just centralized, do it in one time, and preferably, when possible, before or well, after would be very hard for the administration, but before the summer, so think logically. Then we have the harmonization of the third chance regulations. I don't know if you are all aware of the fact that if you are in your bachelor's and there's only one subject that you still need to obtain, but you already did your reset, you have one like golden ticket. So to say, like, okay, I want to use this golden ticket for an oral exam on that one, on that last subject. So that means that you're not going to have to do one whole year again on one subject. That's not the case with every faculty, unfortunately, so that's what we're going to work on. No selection on, well, doorstone masters, the one that follows up to your bachelor's. We believe that every student has the right to follow its masters that follows their bachelor's, and not creating like something that's called a selection at the door, like, okay, you did your bachelor's, you did the preparation for your master, but now you can't do your final work, and that's strange, just doesn't make any sense. And we would like to see optimizing the use of computers. So that means screens at the beginning of the library that says like, okay, these are taken, these are unoccupied, and then it also shows the amount of working spaces that are free on the other buildings of the university. So then that's like you don't have to walk around for like, let's say, half an hour looking for the right spot for you to work on. And we are aware of the fact that it's already being offered online, but it's not up to date. There are a lot of broken computers in there. There are computers that don't even exist anymore. And it's just a bit strange. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell you, but there's also this system of booking your computer, of course, but you can't do that on the same day of the day you wish to book your computer. So if you just put your laptop on 5 to 12 the day before, then you're still able to do so. It's just a bit strange. It's not really on level. So that's also a thing that we are working on. Then I'd like to go on with the internationalization. We all know that Tilburg University is a university which is committed to establishing an even more international character. You see it all the time. And I think it's it's enriching. It's nice. I meet a lot of students from all over the world, and it's a good thing because we have to think bigger than just our country. We are also going to work not only in the Netherlands but also outside. But in order to do so, you have to practice what you preach. So you can say, I'm going to be an international school, but if you have professors that are speaking stone cold English, it's going to be a hard one to tackle. So that's why we think several subjects need to be taken into account. Among others, that's what I said, improving the English language skills of professors and also employees at Tilburg University. What the thing is now is that a lot of students do not understand a lecture if a professor is obliged to, from above, and it says like, okay, this course you're going to have to do in English right now. It's only going to be worse. The quality of education will be lowered. And that's why we say, create a test together with the Language Center, and if it turns out that the level of the language skills of professors as well as other employees at Tilburg University is not on level, please offer them an obliged course. So that you should have a guarantee that you have high quality education. You have a question?
I think especially for older professors, it's quite hard to actually change your language skills. Let's say that a professor who speaks stone cold English does this course and his language skills do not improve. What will happen then?
Yeah, that's exactly what we are thinking about as well, because it's very hard, of course, if you have very high skilled professors in Dutch, but they can't speak English, then we should revise, that's something that's faculty-wise, you should revise the content of the course. So if you have, for example, at rechtsgeleerdheid, we have some courses that are being taught in English and some in Dutch. If you have a problem with a professor speaking English, then just look at the opportunities. Is it possible to do another subject in English? So then you can give the other professor the space to talk Dutch again. That's what happened last year with us. We saw in the course evaluations like, please let this professor speak Dutch again because we don't understand. It was a very hard topic. It was philosophy, so okay. But then again, you should look at the possibilities. If this professor is not able to talk English, but it needs to because someone from above says so, that's strange because then what's more of more value? The high quality, the content, or the fact that they should speak English? It doesn't mean like, okay, we want to have an international organization that it means that you are, no matter what, are going to speak English, not just, but you have to explore the opportunities, because right now there's nothing being done about it. And if we have those tests, we can see, okay, maybe it's not a good idea to have you speaking English, and we can hand it over to someone else. And you get much more insight, and then students also have the feeling that something is being done about it, because right now everybody is like getting grumpy all over it. And that's what I see today. I had the course evaluations with our faculty council, and wasn't really, wasn't really to be applauded. Then we have our, I hope I answered your question. Yeah, okay. We have the idea of language buddies. What I said, I really like to get in touch with people all over the world, and a lot of more students like that. And it's also the other way around. When I talk to students from China, they are like so eager to hold conversations for hours, and that's why we think we should link those people. If you're interested in society from all over the world, please link those people and have them talk the language. I said Chinese people. I understand that I can't learn Chinese from someone else, but you know, if you are a German and you want to talk Dutch, or the other way around, it's really nice to create like a match between the two. Then you can understand each other's language. It improves the living campus, the society that lives here. Then you don't really have the splitting between internationals and the nationals. And you also learn each other's culture. So that's one other thing we would like to see. And we think that there should be sufficient information given on the exchange subjects, because when I hear from my fellow students, when for example you're going to the United States, there is this whole lot of red tape going on first before you can actually go there. There are like how do you say that, visa, and then you have to have a visa for a visa, and you have to have 2 or 3 application forms to have an international credit card or anything. So it's really hard for a student to actually live up to the standards of going to a partner university. But if they ask information or help from the exchange coordinator, they most of the time do not know. And what we think is the reason is that there's no real communication between the partner universities and Tilburg University itself. So there was once like an agreement on, okay, we accept each other's students, but in the meantime we are not really holding up, and we're not really keeping up with the information between the both. So that could be of benefit for the students as well. And we also would like to see more cohesion between the different faculties. Because if I have a problem with going on exchange within TLS, I can't go to, for example, my roommate who is studying at Tyson, because she has a completely different way or procedure of application. So you should also find support among your fellow students, and there should be more clarity between the different procedures, and that's why we think create one uniform procedure on exchange. And then I would like to go to the completion of our pillars. It's the living campus. What you hear from actually all over the Netherlands is like, okay, Tilburg University is really small, but it's a really beautiful campus. And that's also a really unique characteristic of Tilburg. I mean, if you go to Amsterdam or if you go to Nijmegen or it's just scattered all over the city. So it's a high value that we have here in Tilburg. Of course, you should not rest on the fact that, okay, well, we have a unique campus, we have a nice campus, fine with it. No, we could be even more vibrant, we could be more active, we could be a place that everybody just would like to stay also after their lectures are done. So, of course, what I mentioned before, the study climate. These days you see a lot of non-Tilburg University students visiting the library, of course. We talked to Emil Aerts, and he said, like, okay, Tilburg University is not only there for students of Tilburg University, but we are a society organization, and we do not like to create a wall among us. We would like to share the information that we have. That's fine, but then please guarantee the place for the student, the actual student who studies here. And that is why we are thinking of launching entrance gates. We of course cannot do that the whole day because we have the Brabant collection, which is a public domain. But we're saying, like, okay, please activate them in the moments that it's needed. So between 5 o'clock and in the evening, or during exam periods, so that I don't have to go all the way to the university, going back, crying on my bike, back home, say, oh my God, there's no place. That's not really, no, that's not really, how do you say that, of benefit for the students. So that's one thing we're going to try to establish this year. Then we have the cycle climate. It sounds really awesome, how it's stated there, but it's actually a problem. If you have, for example, the library, if you want to place your bike, you have to put it on top of the other ones and then see and hope that it's still there after your visit. And then also, if you have your exams scheduled at the sports center, it's a problem. So there's something needs to be done about that. And there's also our aim of placing a fietsenmaker. I can't find the word in English right now. Oh yeah, the cycle repairman, that's what it was. There's no real nice term for that. So the cycle repairman, let's keep it to that. Because I'm a woman and I don't know really how to fix my flat tire, so it would be very nice. And it's also always the back tire and not the front one. So I don't know, it's hard. So that would be cool. Lockers with cooling departments. If you're here like for the whole time and you bring your own food, you need to have a proper way to store it. So that's what we also want to have on a central place. For example, the library and the campus cafe can be more. It should be go and be there like how do you say that? It needs to have awareness. Students need to be aware of the fact that the campus cafe is there. We are a society, we are all in this together, and we feel like it's a nice place to be here, but we need to explore our opportunities with all the possibilities that we are having. And I think that's the last. Are there any questions?
So you're speaking about a living campus, and how does FCON feel about initiatives such as the Common Room for Liberal Arts and Sciences students?
The Common Room for Liberal Arts and Science?
Yes.
The Common Room for, I have to be honest with you that I do not really know what that is.
So let me explain. It's this shared room for only liberal arts and sciences students where they can do anything, just like studying and coming together, sharing ideas and stuff.
Well, let's say, I think that is, for how long has it been there already?
Since the existence of liberal arts and sciences, so
okay.
7 years or something.
And how is it being monitored? Is it?
By the students themselves.
No, but I mean, is it like a positive thing? Is it working for the benefit of the students, or is it like it's there but it's not being used, or?
Being used plenty.
It's being used, yeah, but that's what I think. That's a very good initiative, and what you see, what I truly believe is that you have to start from the core. Where does it start? And it starts with a common. Well, if I should use the English term in philosophy, you have to have something that you share, before you can create a whole group. And that starts at your studies. You have, well, of course you have other sharings, but it starts with when you're here for the first year, you're all by yourself. And I think that's a good idea to have something that's the common room at a faculty and then expand. Just start from something and then make it bigger. But I think it's a positive thing.
I think what you're getting at is the fact that it's an area in the Dante building, and there is this unwritten rule that non-liberal arts and science students use it. It's quite a big room. I think it's on the size of this one, I think, more or less. But it can be used, so to say, by non-liberal arts and sciences students, which is really, well, it doesn't go with the idea of a living campus for everyone. I think that's what...
No, but that's of course what I said. I understand the fact that that's why I said you need to have a commonwealth. And I think you're well, scared, not so to say, but you're like, you want to create a whole community. But actually we're doing the contrary right now, because you're having a specific topic and that's like only a closed occasion. Is that what you mean? Yeah, okay. No, but then I wanted to build up with that. If you can create that kind of feeling among this group, then I think it should be possible to do so on a higher level. But if you already create this awareness of that it's necessary to have a binding society, I think then you are also open for the fact that everyone wishes that. So I rather see that instead of the individual student who goes back home right after their lectures. So I think that's actually a very positive development from which we can all learn, but we need to find a way in how to incorporate that on a higher level. And of course there are, it's challenging, but why say, okay, it's too challenging, let's not do that? I think there are possibilities to better it.
Maybe to add on that, last few university councils ago we had a discussion about the Dante building, about the I call it exclusiviteit of the Dante building, and we said, well, every place on the university should be available for all the students, and that's also what the board said, because if you want to have a living campus for all the students, it's very important that every student can go everywhere. So we have to monitor if whether it's the case or not that Dante building will also be only be available for liberal arts sciences students, because then you separate some groups for the others, and that doesn't doesn't work with a living campus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are always monitoring whether or not the university college will be exclusive. Dante building will only be exclusive for university college or not. This summer we made questions, we asked questions about it to make sure Dante building will be exclusive, and even this winter we asked questions about it, whether or not Dante building would be exclusive for university college, and we were guaranteed that there wouldn't be any exclusivity.
But maybe also you should think the other way around. The fact that the Dante building is only accessible for the liberal arts and science students doesn't mean that you shouldn't provide other students from creating a group with the whole university. It's like we do want to have more possibilities for students to come together, and so it's not like, okay, we have this group and that's excluding themselves from other ones, so that may be bad for the living campus. No, it's actually the other way around. We want to provide every student with the opportunity to be in a community. So yeah, I think that just giving opportunities is the fact right here. Yes.
Yeah, on the point of giving opportunities to create a group. How successful has the campus cafe been?
How successful has it been? Do we have any
Is the pilot being extended?
rates or anything like that?
Pilot
Yes.
being extended. And what are you going to do next year in order to, make it even better? Or
Yeah, we thought about that, and of course, as what I said, we are going to have the Student Participation Association, and it's going to support the party fund, and we are also going to do that by creating more visibility of the campus. So we're going to create a group on it that's going to help creating the awareness of the campus cafe and to explore possibilities, because of course you always have Sodexo and you have other people that you need to take into account. But we are going to set a group on that, and we are going to definitely see to also hold evaluations, like what would you like to see as a student? So what do you like to see happening? And we can do that through the monthly meetings, and then we can see what is the opinion of a student. How do you think a campus cafe should look like in order to have you come over after your lecture? So it's not only one way, it's two ways. We would also like to see how students would want to see it filled in.
So you're going to take some reflection out of the Fund Participation Association, if I'm correct?
Yes, that's actually what is going to happen. It's going to be wisselwerking, so it's just we are giving the student information on the University Council, but during those meetings they can also say, like, okay, I would like to see this differently, I would like to have that being arranged in another way, and then I send it over to the student party, because of course you need to have regulations on that, because if a student says, I would like to want to have it like this, it's not happening overnight. So that's how we are going to incorporate the opinion of the students through Student Participation Association Fund.
Right. In addition to your question, it is a success. The pilot is indeed extended. We have a lot of study associations coming over. We have a lot of international students coming over. And even now we're still evaluating ourselves. We're evaluating with the people, the volunteers who are just standing behind the bar. But, what could be better? How could we be more attractive to students? And yeah, we also have our promotion committee. And definitely after the elections we'll put some time in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sounds good. But on the point of, well, it's not really but on the point of the Fund Participation Association, realistically speaking, seeing as the political disinterest is on an all-time high, not just on a national level, but also on a university level, what possible reason could I have to join this association?
What possible reason you could have to join it? Well, I think it's a very what the main problem is right now is that no one really knows how to get access to the University Council or where to go.
The Fractiefonds door is always open, as is Fractiesoms, maybe a little less often.
And you know that, but if I say that I'm in building E, because we have an open door policy, all right, but we see at the rates that it's not really there's no really awareness of it. If I tell a student like that I met in my first year that I'm active at Fond, she's like, Fond? What Fond? You know, oh, the green, the blue ones from the elections. Almost, you know, it's a shame. So that's what I think is the main concern, that the general student doesn't know where to go, and that is why we want to have a low level accessibility. And then what is your reason to join? That would be if you encounter problems and know that we solve them. So in the first place, we need to have better communication. We need to, for example, the course evaluations, if you see that you have a complaint, you have it filled in, and you can get feedback on the fact that a certain subject is being differentialized because of your complaint, it's being bettered, then you get the feeling like, oh, but my opinion does matter. So then I think you really get triggered by being a member, because you can also see if you give your opinion, then I'm breaking something, but it doesn't matter. If you see that you join something, and if you see that something is actually being done, then you think I think that's a good trigger to actually get involved. But on the other way around, if you really want to distinguish yourself, and if you're aware of the fact that on the labor market they're not only asking for grades but also for extracurricular ancillary activities, then it might be a good idea to join, because then you know exactly what your possibilities are, and that it is going to benefit you as a student. So that's the main goal, that you have to join the association.
But if that's true, then I have loads of alternatives for that. There is no unique thing that differentiates this association from anything else. If anything, you're new, so it's going to be really hard to acquire new members.
Well, that's also something that, well, Student Participation Association Fund is not only there for students who wish to, well, they're also aiming at the general student, so the one who's not active and the one who's feeling a bit scared to go to a study association or a student association, because they think like, maybe I get so many obligations, because if I'm going to be a member here, I'm going to have to attend this meeting and that meeting, and it's going to take a lot of time. But if I tell you that if you can be a member and you can only maybe visit if you have an actual complaint, and that there's no obligations, no strings attached, then it's more easily accessible than, for example, going to another study association.
Yeah, but two things on that. There, like Plato uses the same line, right? There are no mandatory things that you have to do here, so you can freely join. So if I am, a nervous student, then I can still go there and have a lot of parties. And secondly, if I only have to go to you guys if I have a complaint, then wouldn't I already go to you guys? If, couldn't I just go to Fractiefond if I had a complaint?
As a Plato student.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we both know students are for the fund, obviously, and you know that we work our ass off to be visible all year, and still we get a complaint, as well during the elections. Why haven't I seen you all year? I only see you now. And yeah, so we work the whole year very hard to achieve visibility, to be accessible for students. Yeah, obviously it's not always working because we get the complaints, yourself. And so we try to, get a solution for the problem. And yeah, maybe building a bridge for students to access,
So basically this is like a very extended promotion commission.
The association.
Yeah, the association, right?
It's
only for exposure.
To make place for your input, because students want to give input, but they obviously they already can't reach us. No, they don't do it, because during the election they say, I haven't seen you all year and I have input and I want to give it to you, but I don't know how to reach you.
Where we get the input from is through evaluations and the research we do. But it would be of way more value if we could get them to get the students to actually go to us, because right now it's practice. I sure can follow you when you say, if I have a complaint I go to you because I know where you are, but that's not the case. It turns out that we always have to approach students in order to obtain information. But if you could lower that level, the pressure of going there, if you lower the
Threshold.
the
Threshold.
I used another
Barrier.
word, so barrier. I thought I used barrier. Yeah. If you get it more accessible, then I think it's better for the student, and they know where to go. And if you're more visible, it also gives you a sort of how do you say that? They're going to trust you. You're being seen more. You're being understood more, and therefore we truly believe that it's going to be of a high added value to the student who is going with the big mass.
I still don't understand. I'm very sorry if I keep on going about this too long.
No, that's no problem at all.
But how is this association going to accomplish what Fractiefond, while having tried that a lot, trying to get exposure, trying to get out there, it has failed. How is, failed to a certain degree, how is this association going to accomplish the exposure that you want? Seeing as you're going to use the same channels, right? I mean, Fractiefond does a lot to do promotion through Facebook, through all the associations that they know. And if you're going to use the same approach with the association that you're going to create, I don't see how the outcome is going to be different.
But I didn't say anything about how we are going to do it. And of course, you as a party have only a limited time to go out there and to expose yourself. But if you feel like, okay, this is going to lower our quality of the content of what we're doing at University Council, you have to guarantee that you are performing. And if you see like, okay, our promotion is taking more time than our monthly meetings, then something is going wrong. And you can't have, for example, say Bertels, you can't have him handing over flyers all the time. He needs to be busy with the content. And therefore we wish to create, because right now it's still going on, but we wish to have it on both levels being done well. So we already are really involved in the content. That's okay. But you can see right now the promotion is getting worse. And we have students who say like, okay, where are you? And that we are there for those students. That is our right of existence. The students are our right of existence, and if they cannot find us anymore, then where is the existence? You need to create awareness. And as you said, if you only use the way it's being done right now, it's not going to get you any further. But then you're actually asking the party to do more. But what do you think is more important? Do you think it's more important to hold our meeting tomorrow? Or should we go out and do something with a popcorn stand? Bring popcorn, apple. Now, do you know what I mean?
I know what I mean, but if that's true, then you're just like a dedicated promotion girl.
No, but that's what I said. We have that. It's the two ways. It's what I said. If you as a student, there's easy access because of the promotion, then you get a way more high content-wise information from the student. Not only through evaluations, but because students really want to, because they know you. And that's what we want to create. We want to create the feeling that they are always able to just go there and just tell what's going on, and then just go on with their lives again.
Yeah. Okay.
Leave it like that. We can do it in a minute.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it works. I see that as ik kom even niet op woord. Laat maar. Volgende.
Okay, so
Uitdaging.
there's one thing that confuses me. If I'm going to vote on Front in the upcoming elections, am I going to vote on this participation association, or am I going to vote on University Council representatives? Because I'm really getting confused from the first sentence of the universe, saying that whilst I'm on number one, and that's you, I'm not going to be a University Council representative. So am I going to vote on a student association, or am I going to vote on actual people that are going to do stuff for us?
You are actually going to choose for the persons who are going to be in the party, because that's the main reason of the elections. You know that you're going to vote for the people who wish to go into the University Council, and that's why I said in the first sentence I won't be going in the University Council, but me as a person, I am a representative of the pillars of Front. But I'm going to support those pillars by creating the student participation. And because we are not known right now, we would like to get out there, and I would like to say this is what's going to be the plan. And if you know that I am going to I don't know that expression, je zetel afstaan? Yeah, I guess so, but you all know what I mean. Then you also know that it's automatically being given to the person after me. So it's not like that you're going to vote for a participation association, because that's not what the election is meant for. And if you do not wish to vote for me, I can completely understand that you vote for another person. But a vote for me is a vote for Front. Because as an association, part of Front, you have exactly the same aim, and that's being there for the student. So, and in a way which are shown in the pillars. It's exactly how it goes in on national politics.
The difference being, though, that we can hold Michiel responsible for his actions, and we can't hold you responsible for your actions.
No, but what actions would you mean?
Well, if you are working together on policy, and you're still, this great.
No, but it's said. I don't know if the universe told it, but we also put in our documents. It's legally that the party is irresponsible. No, yeah, that the onafhankelijk. They're independent. So their handlings, they don't necessarily have to listen to what we are saying. And I for sure am not holding policy. Definitely not. I'm going to be the one who passes through all the information. Not going to be busy policy-wise.
Can I add something to that? Yeah, Madam just mentioned that we are working our asses off to go out there, to be visible, that we're doing that. And we are putting a lot of effort in getting the information out of the students, surveys, asking around, having committees, just that connection. So when the association can do a great part of that, so having the input and the promotion, visibility is a better word, then the actual party, the student party, all the candidates around here will be part of that, can do their work even better. So if you vote for Bo, it's definitely a vote for Front and their vision, and not for the student party, the association party, I'm sorry. So that's also a way to look at it, and that's how we actually saw it ourselves. And that's why we think it really would strengthen Front as a whole.
And if Bo is never going to be a part of party Front, why is she explaining the policy?
Because we think Bo has been working with us since January, and the association Front will also have the same vision, the same ideas, the pillars. There will be the communication between the students and the party. So that's actually why we chose to put Bo on number 1, because we think she's the most capable.
She embodies our pillars.
Yeah, exactly. She is becoming the face of Association Front, and therefore being the most close to the students themselves.
Yeah. My
So
advice
that's
would be to maybe let number 2 or number 3 speak as well, because otherwise it's just going to be the chair girl who's not going to be in the party. But that's just
great advice.
Thank you.
I got one last one actually, if I may.
Yeah.
One of your pillars is internationalization,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a firm fan of this. And I also believe that the Fractiefront has done some things to uphold this pillar, but still the international community saw the need to create their own party, their own student party. Why would this be?
Why would this be?
Yeah. Didn't you do enough? Did you do something?
Apparently there was something lacking, and what I could read from the universe is that there wasn't in their vision not really a party that bundled their values, or as how he posed it. But how? Well, it's a process, internationalization. Everyone needs to adapt themselves to it, and if I mean, I can say like, okay, we're on top of things and we're doing everything right, but that would be very strange if I would say so, because we also learn from things. And what we see right now is that everything can be better. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here if there's something that's not to be improved. But there are different ways to approach the topic of internationalization. And this year we are going to have a council on the international students. We're going to create a platform, so as International Students Council. And we hope that it's going to be a success, but everyone has their main goals, and I think we're going to have to improve on this, because otherwise, you hear international students say, I'm actually agreeing with you that there's not enough space being given, And then you have to look at the diverse possibilities. So.
Front. Geen actie zonder onze fractie.